Today we are starting something new here at WCCO. Each Wednesday in our 6 p.m. newscast, our own Angela will be sharing the story of a Minnesotan who made a lasting impression on someone. Not a famous person, but a person who was simply loved. The segment is called Life Story, and the people who are featured are folks who recently passed away. So Angela, I think that this is a really remarkable thing because you're just taking everyday people around our state and you're telling their stories.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
You know, we in news, we do a lot of stories about how people died. We do a lot of stories about famous people, but how often do we talk about just folks that we know in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our own families, and what their talents and gifts, what their legacy will be about them. So this is an opportunity to tell those stories. So for our first report at 6 this evening, we're looking at a man who was born and raised in St. Paul. His name was Joe Freppert. He was just 56 years old when he died 3 weeks ago, and it was music that really defined him.
Whenever he would be up there playing too, I would always notice he'd be smiling, and he always looked to me to make sure I was watching. You know, I think he wanted his wife to be his biggest fan.
Well, Joe taught himself to play the guitar when he was a child, and then as an adult, he went on to perform with local bands. And not only could Joe's hands make music, they could build things. After reading a book about construction and how to build houses, he decided to build his own cabin, and he did it successfully. So we sat down with Joe's first wife, his second wife, and 2 of his adult children to talk about what made him special to them and how his life shaped theirs. And his son, you see there, is also a guitarist. So that love of music, his gift of music, he passed on to his kids. He was a Twins fan. He shared that with them. Lots of funny memories that really make you think about, I think, your own family and what do you find special about people that you love. And I mentioned, to you guys earlier, there's a quote I just saw on Twitter that really kind of fits this, that not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great. And this sort of gets at that. Who are the great people in our community that we've recently lost?
And you mentioned that famous word. We've seen so many famous people pass away recently. Muhammad Ali, Gordie Howe, and Flip Saunders here in Minnesota recently passed. And we know a lot about those people, but it's the people maybe outside of the Twin Cities or people that their families know their stories, but maybe the community does not. And you get a chance to tell these unique stories.
And our research team, me and one of our interns, we've been studying obituaries. A lot of people love to read the obituaries and the stories and what you find in just a couple of paragraphs about people. It's remarkable. So those are the types of stories we're telling. The segments are called A Life Story, and they will air every Wednesday here on WCCO in our 6 p.m. newscast. And we do need suggestions from you, our viewers, on people we can profile. If you have an idea, someone who's recently passed away, and you want to tell their story, it could be a coworker or a neighbor, not necessarily a family member, send them to me by going to WCCO.com/links, and there you'll find a spot that says share someone's life story, and by clicking on that, it'll take you to the page to submit an idea.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Can't wait to see the first one, Angela.
Thanks.